Welcome into the PFF State of the Franchise. It is your New York Giants edition. Sam, the Giants, they needed to give the offensive line a look. It was kind of a weird spot, though, because they had Weston Richburg as a free agent, Justin Pugh as a free agent, actually two of the better free agents on the market. But the big move that they make is they spend a ton of money to upgrade at left tackle with Nate Solder. Is it really an upgrade? Because I know you don't love Solder overall as a player, but he still has to be a step up from what they had in Ereck Flowers.
He is, but we are coming off a pretty bad Nate Solder season. This is his worst grade in a long time. It was an overall PFF grade of 75.7, ranked 32nd among all offensive tackles in the league. But if you look at the pass blocking, that's where it really isn't much of an upgrade, because his pass blocking efficiency even score was 93.7, not a great figure at all, one of the lower marks among left tackles. He allowed 51 total pressures last season. Ereck Flowers allowed 41 total pressures last season. So the pass blocking for Nate Solder has been a major question mark the last season, and going back a little bit further. If you go back to the Super Bowl against the Atlanta Falcons, he gave up 13 total pressures in that. That is a monster number for a left tackle. Run blocking is a huge upgrade over Flowers so far, but this is a passing league. You need to be able to pass block, and Solder needs to get back to his previous form if he's going to be an upgrade there.
Yeah, and even in his previous form, he's an above-average left tackle, but certainly not the elite top-end left tackle, but an above-average run blocker as well. So I think you just might have to temper expectations, but I still think overall they're getting better in New York. The other big news, JPP moving on. They trade him to the Tampa Bay Bucks, potentially leaving a big hole at defensive end now. It's pretty much been Jason Pierre-Paul, Olivier Vernon, and that's it. Playing every snap, rushing off the edge. JPP moving on now. How do the Giants fill this hole, and are they just going to go into the draft with this massive need?
I think they are, yeah. I mean, this is a major concern because it's all on the shoulders of Olivier Vernon now. And like you said, those two guys played more snaps than any other defensive ends in the NFL when they were healthy, and it started to catch up to Olivier Vernon last year. He got injured, missed some time in the middle of the season. Now, maybe that's coincidental. You know, not all players are Iron Men and can go on forever. Injuries are inevitable in the NFL. But now you've got a guy who's going to be the sole source of pass rush. So if he goes down, you've got problems. Nobody else is able to bring the heat. Even if he doesn't go down, he's got to play every single snap and be the only guy there bringing pressure. So, yeah, I think it's inevitable the Giants roll into the draft, and they are going to have to find a complementary edge rusher, because at the moment, if Olivier Vernon doesn't get pressure, they're not getting pressure.
All right, so the rest of the offseason for the Giants in free agency was bringing in, a veteran running back like Jonathan Stewart just to see if there's anything left there. A guy like Cody Latimer, a guy that maybe has a little something after not doing much in Denver, still young, see if they can, extract some potential out of him. But the big question now at quarterback, are they going to roll into 2018 with Eli Manning under center, or at number 2 overall? I mean, how often do you pick up there? You have to look at quarterback, right? Or are they just going to say, Eli's our guy, let's build around him?
No, look, that is the key. When is the next time you're going to get the number 2 overall pick to potentially find the successor to Eli Manning? Even if there were no concerns about Eli Manning's declining play, which there are. Eli Manning has been going downhill over the past few years. Even if that wasn't there, if you were convinced this guy was your quarterback, he's getting the age now where you've got to start thinking about a succession plan. And you would need to draft a quarterback, and even if that guy pans out and Eli Manning turns into Tom Brady in terms of running into his 40s, that way you're still up. You've got an asset you can trade away, and you can potentially find the next quarterback. But they need to start looking for his successor, because he's not given them a reason not to. His play has declined. The receiving core that he's been throwing to has only been getting better last season, albeit with the guys missing injury the whole time. The potential is there, and he still hasn't been getting dramatically better. They need to find the long-term successor, even if that guy doesn't start in 2018.
Yeah, I think whichever quarterback the Cleveland Browns don't take, is if they pass on Baker Mayfield, who we love, oh man, the Giants should pounce on that. I wouldn't really hate Josh Rosen, who is almost an Eli Manning clone, where his highs are really high, his lows are really low. But you mentioned Eli's decline. He has not graded over 80 in the PFF system since 2012. It's a bunch of years in the 70s, including a 70.5 just 2 years ago in 2016.
I mean, the other thing weighing against them not taking a quarterback, the other thing saying you've got to draft one of these guys, is that there is no other guy there that makes sense at 2. you're either taking a running back or a guard. Saquon Barkley out of Penn State, Quentin Nelson out of Notre Dame. Those are the two guys that are sort of consensus in terms of the best prospects available.
Bradley Chubb now, though?
Or Bradley Chubb, who we don't think is worthy of that number 2 overall pick. We have not seen that caliber of play from him, at least in terms of elite pass rush. So the 3 potential players that you would be taking there don't seem worthy of that pick. You've got to take a quarterback. And, you know, they must be combing the PFF draft preview to find the best guy there so they can take him.
That's what I would be doing. Jump into the draft guide and listen to our analytics guys. They always tell me the quarterback position is so much more valuable, and especially when you have a chance to pick it too. And in a draft where we feel pretty good about a few of these guys in the first round. So we would expect the Giants to grab a quarterback. If they don't, it's another year or 2 or 3 of Eli Manning, and the Giants continue to work to build that roster around them. This year making that big move on the offensive line, grabbing Nate Solder. They go into the draft with a quarterback need, edge rusher, and just general overall depth. That is your state of the franchise for the New York Giants.